Oh, there we go. Kicked in just in time. All right, so, yeah, that's not good. Oh yeah, I can do that. So I do want to show one thing. There's a really cool website that somebody else showed me. If I can pull it up, let's see. Oh wait, do that here. It's on the Internet Archive. Um, there's a website that kind of takes copies of the internet, right? So it used to be called the Wayback Machine. It's really crazy cool. So let me see if I can get it here. If I can remember my Canvas password. Yes. And then I'll put it up here in just a minute. Where are you? There it is. All right. So let me switch over to that real quick. I say real quick. Things are happening, but not really. There it is.
Bottom.
There we go. So it's archive.org details calculator drawer. And what that does is it gives you these calculators to choose from. So here's the TI-83 Plus. It downloads a few things, and then it launches. And then it's just I can just use this. I'm being silly.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'm kind of happy you asked that question. And it acts the same as, exactly the same as a TI-83 Plus calculator would in the wild, right? By the way, I will be sending out the video link.
Yeah, just that little bit I wanted to have on there.
Gotcha.
Wayback Machine.
Yeah, it's part of what they do, the Wayback Machine. I don't even know if it's still operable. I used to go to that thing a lot. It kind of archives, so you can go to certain time periods and see what certain websites look like. It's kind of insane. So, if you haven't used the TI much, yours probably looks like this. Yours actually, yeah, look at you. Let me see, which one's that? Is that the
Plus?
Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah, okay. But everything should be in the same location. Which class are you in?
The 160 with.
Okay, 160.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So here, let me give you this. I have one for algebra students and one for stat students.
Yeah.
So basically, if you've not used this much, it works the same way as a scientific calculator.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one bad thing about using this emulator for this, I might as well use both. Because the newer calculators have a lot more functionality to them. There we go. So here, if I do 9, let's do this, 9 minus 6 times 5 divided by 111. Let's see what that is. Bam! Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I want to take, for example, a couple of really cool things. One thing is this button right there.
Answer.
Above the negative, yeah. So that's temporary memory. You actually have all these letters can be used as memory. So if you hit alpha and then one of these buttons, the corresponding letter will show up, and then you can store a number in that letter. But if you don't need that, if you just want the last number on the screen, this little button right there always is a constantly changing memory location. It just updates with the latest number that was on the screen. So if I want to do the square root of this number, I don't have to type the whole damn thing in, I just have to hit the answer button. And it'll give me the square root of the last number that was on the screen.
Okay, so you don't have to hit the second to get up to the answer. You
Totally do. Yeah, I did real quick.
Okay.
That's the little shift button, so anytime you want to get up top to where these guys are, you have to second
Copy.
first.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to hit them at the same time. You just hit second, and then any button you press, it'll give you the whatever's above.
In that color.
Yeah. If you want the letter, you hit the alpha button. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty nice. And then if I do something like, if I just want to divide that number by 3, if I just hit divided by, the calculator assumes, oh, this weird ass human just wants to divide the last thing he got by whatever. Bam. Right? So if I hit minus, same thing, it assumes I want to do the minus to the last thing, so it kind of puts that in there for me. Now, what if I wanted to, so one thing I always get students that happens to them is, let's say you want to do -3 times 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll hit this button and they'll freak out because when they hit this button, it doesn't let them put, it assumes. And that's why the calculator has a minus sign and a negative sign.
Gotcha.
So when you say want negative, you have to use this, right? So then you can just do -3 times 8. Shabow! All right. Not too bad. So that's some really, really, really basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure I don't forget anything. So today is going to be a little geared towards statistics because there's a statistics person here. So if you're watching this video, okay, just let's make sure I didn't forget anybody. Blah blah. Oh, here's a couple of other things. You're in statistics, right? And even if you're not in statistics, this is going to happen. You're going to have this big freaking thing you put in. Okay. So let's put in there. Let's do this one that's on this paper here, actually. So if I want to do this problem here, watch how seamless it is for me to, oh yeah, it's just immediate multimedia. Okay, so if I want to do this here, the calculator doesn't have eyeballs, thankfully. Because the next step after calculator with eyeballs is freaking Terminator, Skynet and shit, right? We don't want that. So if I want to put this in, we have eyeballs. We can see this big bar. We know the top is one thing and the bottom is one thing. Calculator doesn't know that. We have to put it in parentheses. Yeah. So if we put in there 4 minus 3
Screen.
times 2, what's that?
Screen.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, that's gonna be freaky. You 4 minus 3 times 2 divided by 8 minus 7 times 3 minus 5. Bam, bam. When we do that, we get that business. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know if I put that down. No, okay. So I get that. Now let's say, oh man, oh shit, that was supposed to be a 6, not a 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't that big of a problem, but watch this. If you hit second, enter, you can then go back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. On the newer calculators, let me do this again. On the newer calculators, there we go. They actually have the ability, so if I'm just going to type some stuff in. Okay. Blah, 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 right? I'm like, ah, man, that was supposed to be a 9. So you can actually just scroll up, hit enter, and then go back and change it to whatever I just said it was supposed to be. Yeah. Okay, so you can always hit second enter. That still works on the newer ones. Second enter, it'll pull it back up, and you can go edit. So in statistics, especially when you get further into the course, you're going to get these bigger and bigger equations. So it's so going to suck if you forgot a parenthesis or you forgot. So thank God you don't have to type the whole damn thing over again. You can go back and edit, right? And when you edit, you've got stuff like, let's just say I was supposed to put a parenthesis around the 9 minus 4, right? So I can insert.
Like insert. Yeah.
I can insert parenthesis. Oh, hey. Insert parenthesis.
It puts it before the
Yeah.
icon.
So now you got your good old second.
Puts it before the icon, the little.
Yeah, exactly. So I can insert whatever, I can delete whatever. Of course, our order operations ruling the day here, right? You'll all please excuse my dumbass son. Let me get you guys real quick. Get you to sign in for me.
Okay.
Which course are you in?
Math.
Math.
160.
Oh, your stats also. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me give you this. This is what I give my stats students about the calculator. Do you need to borrow a calculator or do you have one?
I have a calculator.
Sweet. All right. Maybe I'll just stick with this. It'll be
Okay.
easier than switching multimedia. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't bring anything with me. Let me see. Here. Ooh, look at that. Here's the room pen. Let's see if it works. Oh, cool. All right, so all you've missed, we talked about just some editing options for the calculator. Have you used the calculator much at all before the course you're in?
No. I used it in, statistics when I took it in school, but
Oh, you're looking up the. Okay.
anyways, you have to use this calculator.
Oh. Now wait a minute.
Yeah.
Who are you taking for statistics?
I am taking,
But they don't. Do they? Whoever it is, do they? Do they not require a TI graphing calculator?
yeah, I have the wrong one. I have a TI 30.
Yes. And you need like an 83, 84, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you need, you can borrow one for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
These things are brand new. Okay. Oh, yeah, thank you. So this will be good. I'll catch you up on a couple things we did. Okay. What's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick and Anthony. Okay, that's easy to remember. I like it. I'm Jeff, by the way. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm the current coordinator for the Math Study Center in the Meta Tutoring program, and I teach in the math department. Yeah. Okay. So, Anthony, if you don't remember your instructor, that's not the end of the world. I just email everybody and give them the list of people that came. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your instructor might give you extra credit or something. I don't know. It's up to them. Now your instructor.
Oh, he's here, Lee.
Say again?
Carrie Lee.
Oh, Carrie Lee. Okay. All right. Put them on down there. And you put your instructor down there, right?
Mhm,
So
Elliot.
I'll make sure to email them because I didn't email the Quimaka instructors, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because they didn't tell you about this, right?
No, it was your email that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, I'll figure it out. All right.
So I looked through his syllabus and it said, in order to get help or how to get rent a calculator, just go to the syllabus materials. But then it just said you can get one.
Oh, really?
And the only reason I knew about this class was through your email.
Gotcha. So Anthony, let me show you a couple things. Have you got this? Okay. I want to show you something that will help out a little bit. There is a website. This would be good for anybody watching on the video, just to get a refresher on this. There's a really cool website. You can see it up here, archive.org, details. Let me go back. Calculator drawer, right? So if you want to copy that down. And it has all these calculators. I don't think it has an 84. It's got an 85. But, 83 is basically the same as 84. So if you click on one of them, it'll download some files, and then it'll launch, and there's the calculator. So if you don't have one, you can use this at home, and your teacher should have some to borrow in the classroom. You can always check some out from the library here.
Okay.
Hey, are you here for the calculator workshop?
Yeah.
Okay. Which class are you in?
Math 170.
170? Okay. Do you have a calculator or do you need to borrow?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, but okay.
Just think.
So let me give you this.
Thank you.
Okay. for the benefit of Anthony, and what's your name?
Sam.
Sam?
Yes.
Go ahead and sign it for me real quick. I'm gonna kind of redo a little bit of what I already did, just real quick. Let's see which one do I have. This one. So, one of the most fundamental things about this calculator, I don't know if you guys used scientific calculators before, but it does show you. You gotta turn it on, Jeff. There you go. It does show you everything you're typing in. Thankfully. So if I just do this, 6 minus 9 divided by 11, I get that, right? Kind of a long ass number, correct? And so if I just need to do the square root of that number, oh, what happened? Hit the go to button.
This one.
Hit the go to button. Oh, okay. So watch. So if you try to do something, I'll do this also. And it tells you, see how it says go to?
Yeah.
It'll put the cursor on the issue. So that should be a minus, not a negative. So let me do that too.
Oh, different board.
Yeah, so watch this. If I do 6 and I hit this button,
Yeah.
the calculator's gonna freak out. It doesn't make sense. And the nice thing is you hope to God the error has a go-to option, and what that'll do is it'll put the cursor on the problem.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a negative button and there's a minus button. Which on the surface seems kind of silly, but I'll show you why that exists. They had a hardwired 2 different ways.
Okay.
So real quick, guys. Okay, so everybody with me?
Mhm.
Anybody wants to try this? Got it? You all right? Yep. Okay.
I did it wrong.
What do you mean?
I didn't get a syntax error.
No, you're fine. I made a syntax error show up because I did it wrong.
Yeah, but I thought I tried the same way as you, and I got a negative 4.909.
Yeah. Okay. So the newer calculator is able to handle it, and I'll tell you why. This is neat. The newer calculator is smarter. So now I'm curious if I try it on this other calculator of mine. Everybody stay with me. The newer calculator is smarter. So this button is a negative button. So if I do this, the newer calculator assumes what I mean is 6 times negative 9, which is negative 54.
Oh, yeah. But it's positive.
So the newer calculator just kind of guesses that's what you mean. The older calculator is actually better. Because if I write that, I normally would have meant minus, not times the negative.
Okay.
So the older calculator is better, to be honest. Which class are you in? Are you in you want the calculator workshop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Grab this.
Okay.
Can you sign in real quick? Do you have a calculator with you?
Yes.
Good. And which class are you in? Oh, stat. I got 3 stats. Okay. All right. Slowly. Where'd it go? I'll have the room full by the time the workshop ends. I started with 1 person. Okay. So 3 stats, 1 person in trig, right? What's 70?
170.
170.
170?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start over a little bit again. This will be the last time I'll start over. All right. So just to catch up, how much have you used the calculator? Not much. Okay. Okay.
70.
All right, guys. Here we go. I'm gonna do it a little quickly. Which one do I have up there? I got this one. Okay. So the most basic thing about the calculator is when you type in it. And what kind do you have? Do you have like an older?
I do.
So maybe I'll use the older one. Oh, you were share.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'll use the older dude, and I'll show you this too. Let's see. All right. Anybody else who comes in is just gonna have to
Watch the video.
Yeah, watch the video exactly. So here's an older one. So let's do this really quick all together, right? Put in there 6 minus 9 divided by 11, just because. And notice there is a minus key and there is a negative key, and they are different. You have to use the right one at the right time. Is that cool? If I want a negative number, I use that. If I want to subtract, I use this. Okay, I like it. So we got that, right? Everybody got that number?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's say I want to do the square root of that number. Do you see how it's kind of long?
Yeah.
So if I just hit square root, and the square root button is above the squared button. Anything above, I hit second, that button. It's sort of like a shift button, right? Now, some of you guys have the newer calculator. I'll do this problem again on the newer calculator. Do you guys have a square root with a parenthesis?
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have,
It's just a square root symbol.
yeah, you have a square root symbol that's going to grow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So watch. So if I do square root of, see this button right there, this button right here, ANS. It's one of the coolest buttons on this calculator. It has its temporary memory. It always has the number that last showed up on the screen. So right now it's got that number in it, right? What time did this workshop start?
10.
Did it start at 10? Oh yeah, that thing is like an hour ahead. I keep forgetting. I gotta look over there. That guy needs help. I was like, holy crap, it's almost over. All right, sorry.
Barely got into it.
So, this button, again, is temporary memory. I don't know why I'm covering it. So if I hit second negative, that will take the square root of the last number on the screen. So I don't have to retype the whole damn number. Are you guys semi with me?
Yes. Sir.
You guys all get the same
Yeah.
answer? Yeah? What's up? Yes,
I did.
you're good? Okay, please don't say everything's good if it isn't. The minute something goes weird, calculators are weird, technology day is weird, all kinds of syntax errors. So just let me know if something isn't working right or if you don't get the same thing I do. Okay. Now watch this. If I hit, I'm doing it on here. I forgot. If I hit divided by 13, do you see how it assumes? I just hit the divided by symbol. Just hit the divided by symbol and see how it assumes. It's like, oh, this human means to divide the last number it got. You know, these humans, whatever. So if you just hit a symbol, it'll assume you want to do that to the last thing we did. So if I just hit divided by 13, you guys with me? Just hit divided by, and it should put the ANS up there for you. Everybody good?
Mhm.
So if I just hit the square button right there, it assumes you want to square the last thing that was on the screen. You can do it. There we go. Okay, I love it. So that's pretty cool. This little button, we can control it. If I want to do something like, what do you want to do? If I want to do 4 plus 5 times the last number I got on the screen, I can do it just like that. 4 plus 5 times the last, so I don't have to write the whole damn number in, yes? And when you're taking a test or a quiz, every few seconds saved are huge, yes? You want a little more cushion time at the end. So that would be 4 plus 5 times that, which should be 4.153 roughly? Yes, okay. So this button is crazy awesome.
Yeah.
Then, most of you guys are in stats, and you're in the 170, but all of you, yes, but with trig, you're going to get these big-ass equations, yes? So, for example, let's all do this together. Let's do, in fact, let's do this one again. Sorry. Why not? I'll do 2 things. I was supposed to show you something. I'll remember it in a minute. On the newer calculator. Oh, yeah, that's right, the square root button. On the newer calculators, if you hit the square root button, it'll actually grow with you. So if I do 7 minus 6 times, see how it's growing?
Mm-hmm.
So then if I want to come out of it, I hit the over arrow, and now I'm not inside the square root anymore.
Oh, there you go.
guys follow?
Yeah.
Only the stuff inside the square root will be affected. On the older calculator, I know, remember, this is the newer calculator. On the older calculator, if you want to come out of the square root, you put a parenthesis. That'll take you out of the square root. Because remember, when you hit square root, doesn't it have a parenthesis open up?
Mm-hmm.
So if you close it, you're outside of the square root.
How do you mean, where's the arrow? Oh, I see it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, up here. These guys. These are going to be huge for the newer calculators. So for example, everybody do this. Let's clear that. I like to clear sometimes, get a nice empty screen, right? Do this, 7. Here's your to the button right there. That's the exponent button. To the, let's do third power. So 7 to the third power. That's what mine looks like. What do yours look like when you do 7 to the third? Did it have a little symbol?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But they mean the same thing. So the newer calculators are programmed to make it look like it would on your paper. And the older calculators are like, we ain't got time for that shit. It just puts the little caret symbol in there, right? You guys sort of with me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But watch, here's the problem. The newer calculator, if I do 7 to the third power, and if I want to add 6 to it, if I just put plus 6, do you see how that's up in the exponent
Mhm.
still? Aw. Delete, delete. So I'd have to hit the over arrow to come back down, and then I can add 6.
Okay.
So with the newer calculator, those arrows become much more important, because if you don't want to be where you are, you have to hit the over arrow to come back down to normal. Right?
What about this?
Yeah, that one you're golden. Now just hit plus 6. Yeah, so that's not going to be 7 to the 9th. That's going to be 7 to the 3rd plus 6. All right. So on the older calculator, oh, this is so exciting. I have to go back and forth. On the older calculators, if I wanted to do 7 to the 3 plus 6, I'd have to put parentheses. Now that's going to be 7 to the 9th,
Uh-huh.
which should be crazy big. But if I do 7 to the 3rd plus 6, the calculator knows order of operations. Do we know order of operations?
Mm-hmm.
Please excuse my dumbass son, right? Or dear Aunt Sally,
Yeah, it's
whichever one. Or one year my algebra class said, please excuse my deficient algebra skills. And I'm like, okay. They came up with it themselves. I'm like, all right. So it knows exponents before addition. So that's why you have to put parentheses around the addition if you need that to be done first, right? Good old order. Now the newer calculators, if you want it all, you just keep it all up in the exponent. And then you come down when you want to, right? So everybody's semi with me. It's a little weird because there's two main things happening with the upgraded operating systems on the newer ones. Okay. Oh, let's see. Okay. Enter. Oh, you don't like that. Enter. Now, let's see. I think I've caught up to where I was basically. Yes. Yes. And let me show you one more thing that's kind of nice. Let's say, let me see. What's a good example? Let me do this. Let's say I need to do, in fact, I'll do it here. You guys just hang out. Let's say I needed to do x squared plus 5x minus 7, and I want x to be 1.1739, right? You with me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Store that in X.
X squared plus 5x minus 7, and x is this, so I got to plug that in, yes?
Mhm.
So this is a silly example of this, but which one am I with? This. If I put this button right here, kicks so much butt. Watch this. What's x again? I'm sorry. 1.1.
739.
This little button right there. See the stow button?
Mhm.
Store it, and I can store it in any letter I want to. Look up here. These blue, Jeff. Good job. They're green on mine. They might be different color on yours. I don't know.
Green
And they're
number.
normally green. Yeah. I could store it. Let's store it in X. See the X is right here. So if I store that in X, then the letter X has the number. Now watch, this kicks so much ass. So now if I say X squared minus, what was it again? Or plus 5X. Plus 5X. What was it?
Minus 7.
7. Thank you. It'll do it. Do you understand how that could be useful?
Yeah.
So you have all these memory positions. How many memory positions do you have? At least 26. You have one for every letter. Plus your answer button, right? Nice. Kind of nice. Maybe you'll never use it, but it's good to know it's there. Okay.
For me, I
Yes.
107.
Yes, it kicks so much butt. So you can imagine doing quadratic formula. You guys remember quadratic formula? B squared minus, B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2. So you could let A equal something, B equal something, C equal, and just plug that whole thing in, just the way it is, right? That's one use of this. Okay. I think that the key button is this guy. This is the one that's really, really useful. Now, let's all do this. Let's all do this together, so we're on the same page. Oh shit, let's do it on the right calculator. Everybody do this for me. Let's do a little. We'll do a big one. You ready? 8 minus parentheses 5 plus 2 close parentheses 2 to the third power divided by 99. So everybody got that? I'll give you a second. See if I can blow this up a little bit. Yeah, how's that? So let's hit enter, see if we all get the same answer.
4.5353. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay. Now watch this. What if I look at that? Oh, what's up? You good?
I don't think I.
Arrow over.
I'm sure.
Let's see. 8 minus 5 plus 2. Oh, see, real quick. Do you see? Okay. Yours is interesting. Do you see how it does put stuff up in the exponent? So if you, let me show you this. It's kind of nice. If you hit second enter, you can go back and you can edit it. So hit delete. Kill the divided by 99. So hit delete 3 times. There you go. Now hit the over arrow to come down. This one. Now hit divided by. Do you see how now you're out of the exponent? Divided by 99. Enter. Bam. Everybody else good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say that, I'm sorry, it was supposed to be a 4, not a 5, right? Now that's not a very long thing, but now watch this. If you hit second, enter. See how it pulls it back up? And then I can go back and edit it. There. So you can imagine, especially, well, to be honest, everybody. Stats, for sure, you're going to get these big equations later in the semester. Trig, you're going to get these big equations. You're just going to have sine and cosine and stuff running around. It's going to so suck to put all the stuff in and go, oh, no, that was supposed to be a 6, not a 7. So you can just do that. The newer calculator, of course, you can just hit the up arrow. Let me. Oh, Jesus. All right, hold on. All right. The newer calculator. So if I just do something really quick times 8 and divided by 77 plus 523 minus 6 to the second. Okay. Barf, right? And I go, oh no, that was supposed to be a plus, you know. So I can actually hit the up arrow, enter, and make that a plus, right? Not like amazing, but still, it's kind of useful. And again, on a quiz test, time is crucial. You want to be able to edit things quickly instead of rewriting the whole dang thing. Okay.
Making another mistake.
Say again?
And making another mistake.
Yeah. We're all human. I don't know. It's up to your teacher, but I always say if you show me the work and you made some silly little mistake, you won't lose many points. So I don't know how your instructors do it. Okay. So that's some of the basics of these calculators, right? So let's get in. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Blah, blah, store, answer. Yeah. That's the basic stuff. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to start with algebra, believe it or not, because for everybody in the room, I am also recording this, so there's probably going to be a lot of algebra students out there. I know in class I got a lot of stats, so I'm going to do some algebra stuff, and then I'm going to do some stat stuff, right? So in the name of this calculator is the word graph. So it better be able to graph stuff for us. So sure enough, the very top row of the calculator is all about graphing stuff. So let's say I want to graph y equals 4x plus 2. Do you see this crazy button right there? Right, that seems like a kick-ass button right there, y equals. So if you hit y equals, let me know if it doesn't look like this. Let me clear that out. Does everybody get y1, y2, y3?
Yeah.
And is anything in those? Go ahead and clear them out if there's anything in there. Just go to it and then hit the clear button. If there's anything in there, just go to it and hit the clear button. All right. Everybody doing okay? What's up? See if the y equals right there. There we go. I love it. Okay. Now you got some nifty other stuff on there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. So everybody do this. Put in there 4x minus, let's just do something nice. 4x minus 5. Can you guys tell me what kind of graph that's going to make? Is it going to be like a U, like a parabola? Is it going to be a line? Is it going to be a
Should
circle?
be a line, isn't it?
It's going to be a line, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or-
with a slope of what?
4 to 1.
Good. Mx plus b. So that's
Yeah.
slope of 4. 4 to 1, 11. Up 4 over 1.
Uh-huh.
So it should be kind of steep.
But down 5 on
Down 5, 11. So it starts down 5 and then it goes up 4
Rapidly,
over 1.
yeah.
I love it. So we kind of know what this should look like. So let's all hit graph. Now this is going to be interesting because we could all have very different scales and such. Let's just see what happens.
the. An error.
So when I hit graph, I get this. What does your error say? Oh, now yours is interesting. You're in stats, right?
Yeah.
Do you see how above y equals it says stat plot? Oh shit, you gotta quit first. Stat plot. So I hit second y equals. Do you see how these are turned on?
Okay.
Hit number 4 and turn them off. Hit 4, enter. Go ahead, hit enter. Now I go to y, and you got the thing in it. Now hit graph. Now see, yours is a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Yours is a little weird. I'm sorry. Oh, your X button is right there. That's kind of nice. X minus 5. Now hit graph. Yours looks good. Yours is beautiful. Kick ass. So, here's the thing about this calculator. Can anybody tease out what the scale must be right now?
Yours
1,
is
2,
like a-
3.
1 to 1 looks like.
Yeah, but the scale. Yeah, I see what you mean. The scale is 1, 1. What's the? How far does it go out?
1, 2, 3.
7, 8, 9.
10. So it looks to be like
10 by
negative
10.
10 to 10, negative 10 to 10, right?
So
I
it's
really
squish.
want you to understand what's interesting is a graph goes infinitely in the x and y direction. Are you guys with me?
Mhm.
Of course, the poor little. Go ahead.
I think it's mistake.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to get to that. So when we do this, this is sort of like a porthole in a submarine or something. So if you want to see something over there, you're not going to see it. You're going to have to turn the freaking sub. Go, oh, there. So we can control, poor little guy, we can control what that window is looking at. So imagine when you have a graph function, the graph is laying there, and our calculator, we can change what it's looking at, right? So one of the most important things to do is if everybody hits, see this button right in the middle? Zoom. If everybody does zoom 6, see how it says standard? Everybody's 6 should be standard. You guys see that? If you hit the zoom button, you get this number 6. Just hit number 6. Everybody should look the same as mine.
Yes.
Cool. Sweet. So zoom standard will always take you negative 10 to 10, negative 10 to 10. Now,
Window.
go ahead.
Is number 6. Yeah.
Zoom
Zoom. Yeah.
6, yeah. Now notice there's a lot of other things in Zoom. We'll see how much we can talk about, but I want to talk about window. So watch this. Everybody go back to your y equals.
Okay.
I'm going to make one change. Make it 50, right? Now, can anyone tell me why, when I hit graph, why,
It's not going to show up because it's out of the window.
where is the graph? Like, where is it hitting the y-axis?
Down at 50.
It's down to negative 50, right?
Yeah.
We're currently looking up here, and the graph is freaking down here. So, right now, what's the lowest y value showing up?
10.
That would be 10.
Negative 10. And we want it to be what?
Negative 50.
Maybe even
Or
like
further.
negative 60, maybe. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
I want to be able to see my graph. So I want the minimum y to go further down. So hit the window key. The window key is like that porthole in the submarine I was talking about.
Mhm.
So you're all the submarine captains, and you're gonna tell the freaking submarine, hey, can you like go somewhere else? Right? So we're gonna tell it, I want the y min. See y min?
Mhm.
Don't worry about, look, let me go over this. X min, X max, that makes sense. X scale, that's where it's going to put the tick marks. You guys with me?
Wonderful.
Y min, Y max, again, that makes sense. Y scale, same thing. This is resolution. Don't worry about that too much. This is another type of resolution. Don't worry about that too much, right? That's getting a little bit beyond most of our cares. So let's just change y min to be negative 60. And then hit graph. That looks a lot better, huh?
Yes.
Now, can you guys help me? What if I wanted to be able to see the x-intercept on the screen? What would I change to be able to see the x-intercept?
The X max.
Yeah, currently my x-max is 10. It looks like it's going to hit over here somewhere.
Around 15.
So maybe make the x-max 15 or something, right? Let's see. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
I know, just following the line, it's going to hit the x-axis up here. Currently I can only see up to 10. Well, obviously I need to see further over. So I'm going to go back to window, make my x-max, let's try 15. And then hit graph. Kabam!
Mirror. Exactly.
All right, you guys all with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, let me see. Well, I'm trying to figure out what order I want to show you some cool stuff in. Let's do this. All right, let's do this. Yeah, I want to do a different function. Let's go to y. Is everybody cool with the window idea?
Yeah.
Okay. So watch this. Let's go back to y equals, and let's type this in. Let's hit clear. Our poor little line is now dead. Poor little guy. Let's put in there. Let's put in there 3x squared, right? And the x button again is right here. That's like your all-purpose variable button. 3x squared minus 11x plus 12. Okay. And let's just hit graph. Everybody got that? 3x squared minus 11x plus 12. Let's just hit graph, see what happens. Aw, look at that. Poor little
Then-
guy.
Max 10, yeah?
Yeah. So first thing we can do, pretty much what I tell my students, when you put a new function in, you should hit zoom 6. Let's see if that makes things better. Yeah. Now what's funny for me is that's not doing what I wanted it to do. Damn it. So let's do some editing practice. So everybody see that now? Zoom 6 is a great thing to start with, and then you change your window as you need, right? Now let's go back. Go back to y equals. I need it to do something specific. So let's say, oh, it's not supposed to be a 12. It's supposed to be a 2. So I can hit delete and make it a 2. Right? We just made a mistake. It's supposed to be a 2. And then hit graph. Okay. All right. So again, I just wanted to make some. I want there to be x-intercepts. That was my mistake. I made one that was way too far up. Had no x-intercepts at first. You with me?
Yeah.
So now let's say the issue I need is to figure out what the x-intercepts are. So another name for x-intercepts. Can somebody tell me what is the output at either of the x-intercepts? What's the output?
Y equals 0. Are you talking?
The output is 0, right? X-intercepts have multiple names. We call them x-intercepts, we call them roots, and we call them zeros. And the reason we call them zeros is because it makes the function 0. The reason we call them roots is really weird, because if that was the ground, that's where the root would start. Right? So, if I want to know the zeros of this, meaning the x-intercepts.
Make another Y but equals 0?
No,
Oh.
I like it though. Everything on the top row is about graphing. So now I want to calculate something. Now real quick, the trace button, everybody hit the trace button.
Yeah, you can follow the line.
Yeah, and it'll tell you the points as you move along, but do you see how big of a step it's taking?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get exactly
No.
the x-intercept?
There's a way to do it.
Yes, there is a way, but trace won't do it. In fact, trace, I haven't really used trace much ever. Is everybody with me with trace? Trace does exactly what you think it would do. If you hit the up and down arrow, it doesn't move, does it? Because up and down arrows will switch between graphs. But how many graphs do I have? One. So it's like, what do you want? What do you want? Stop hitting that button. I can't go anywhere. Left and right is what moves us around a graph. Now, if I want to know exactly what that x-intercept is right there, I'm going to go to calculate. I want this crazy expensive freaking calculator to calculate something graphically,
Zero.
which is what it should be. Totally good one. Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
So what? It doesn't have a calculate?
No.
Hit second. Trace to get to calculate. There we go. Yeah, anything that's above the button, you got to hit the little second button. It's a shift button. Is everybody into this menu?
Mhm.
Okay. Good? Are you ready? You gotta let me know if it's anything's going wrong. Is anybody not able to see this menu?
Yeah.
I mean, on your own calculator. Right. Okay, okay. So hit number 2. We want 0. Now it's going to ask you 3 questions. It's going to ask you for a left bound. So it wants to be to the left of the answer. And do you see how I currently am? Like everybody put their cursor as close as you can get to the answer, right? So the left bound, I would go to the left. I normally go like 1, 2 spots left, and then I hit enter. What we're doing is we're setting up an area that it's going to search in. So go to the left of it, enter. Do you see how it opens like a... What's up? Oh. Oh. So left bounds. So let's see. See how you can move the cursor around? So move it until it's right on top of the answer, as close as you can get to the intercept there. Yeah, there you go. Okay. As close as you can get. Yeah, that's about as close as you can get there. So now right there, right? So hit the left arrow a couple times. Yep. Good. Now hit enter. So that's the left bound. Yeah.
Okay.
Hit enter. Hit enter.
Where is it?
Enter.
No.
Oh, there we go.
Bam. Now it wants to have a right bound. So I'm going to go back to the answer and I'm going to hit the right arrow once, twice. Enter. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, calculator, we know you're not very smart, and it isn't. These calculators are really dumb. So we have to say, hey, calculator, it's going to be okay. The answer's in here somewhere, right? And the last thing it asks me for is a guess. So then we put the cursor as close as we can. Enter. Oh, good. I'm glad this happened. Let's see if the same thing happens to you guys. Okay. Did you all get 3.47 for blah, blah, blah?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And not a
No.
1-0.
Oh.
0.
Oh, so what happened was, I'm pretty sure I know what happened. So when you do calc, so do 0. Okay, now hit the left arrow a couple times. That's the left side, enter. Go back on the answer, and hit the right arrow a couple times. Yep. One more time. Enter. So now it's going to search between it. Now give it a guess. So put the cursor right as close as you can. Enter. Cool. And yours doesn't have the same issue we do. Interesting. You got.
3,
I like it.
4 hours.
This notation right here. So that's the answer. That is the x value that makes the output 0. Is that 0 though?
No.
No. Well,
Then-
anybody know what this is? Yeah, you got a different number, right? But it
Yeah.
still says E what?
Y minus 6. Negative 6.
Ba 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 ba. Oh. Oh, you haven't hit enter yet. Hit enter. There. Now you gave it your guess, and it says no such. So what happened was, when you do 0, you put the answer on the cursor on the cursor on the answer.
Yeah.
Left a couple times for the left bound. Go back to the answer. Right a couple times for the right bound, and then give it a guess. Bam. Okay, and you didn't end up with the problem. Oh, poor little guy. He's getting tired. What this means is,
Negative 0.00000.
yeah, this is scientific notation. So this means basically it means
12.
11 zeros.
Mhm.
Right? 'Cause you
And
got
then a
the
one.
ones to get around the thing. So this means 11 zeros 1. So it's just the calc that are having trouble with the resolution. But it basically, when you see E negative big, that basically means 0. So that's just a little thing the calculator does because it uses algorithms to find the answer, which is why we give it a place to search in, so it makes it quicker. But the algorithm kind of stops when it's close enough, right? Otherwise, it might go forever. Okay. What else might we want to know about this? What shape is this? What kind of function is this? Okay, I'll accept a word that starts with P and a word that starts with Q. You know, like potato? No, but it's good. There are 2 right answers. One starts with P, one starts with Q. Looks quadratic, or it looks like a parabola. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
What's the most important point of this parabola?
The lowest?
Lowest point. So if you go back to calc, up here, second trace, which one do you think I want to
Minimum.
use? Minimum. Number 3. And it's going to ask you some very similar questions. It's going to say left bound. Okay. So go to the answer, and then I hit 1, 2, 3 over. Should be, yeah, it should be 3. Then go back to the answer, 1, 2, 3 over for the right bound. So it's very similar. I'm giving it somewhere to search, and then it wants a good guess. So I put my cursor on the answer, and now it's got the minimum, which is also known as the vertex. Okay. Let me stop for a minute.
I get x1.9.
Neato. Oh, well, because you haven't done anything yet. So hit the left arrow a few times. Let's see, a few times. Enter. Now go to the right. See the answer's right here. So go to the right of it a little bit. Enter. And then give it a guess. Enter. Let's see what you get. There we go. Yeah. I like it. Okay. And again, I know some of you guys are in stats. You're not going to have to worry about this maybe ever again in your life, right? I don't know. Stats is the last thing you have to take. I don't know. Okay. So, I think the last thing I'll show, unless there's any specific questions about anything, with algebra, we'll do an intersection of 2 functions, and then we'll do some stat stuff. And then we might call it a day, and I'll see if anybody has specific questions. So let's do this. Go back to y equals. Okay. Actually, I want to do 2 things. Yeah. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Let me think. Let's clear this one out. And let's see. We're going to do some crazy stuff now. 11x to the 3rd. So the newer ones add the over arrow to come back down, right? It's like cool to come back out of the exponent. The older ones, you just keep going. Minus 6x squared. Minus, what do you got, Jeff? 88. Let's see what I have done. What have I done to us?
I missed the part where you forgot to bring or taught how to bring the
Oh!
down, so I can.
Gotcha. So yeah, just hit the over arrow.
Over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can keep going. Yeah. 11x. Oh, hit delete. Okay. Oops, delete. Now hit the to the button. That's your to the 3rd. Now you can just keep going. Minus. Yeah. I don't know what I've done to us. Let's find out. So I'm gonna hit. So already got that.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 88. I'm gonna hit graph and just see what happens. Holy crap! I get a straight up and down line, right?
So,
Okay. There's a couple things to do. This button right here, the table button. Oh, what's up? Sorry.
Don't get.
You don't get anything? Poor little thing. 11x cubed minus 6x squared. That's what I had, right? 11x cubed minus, was it minus 6x squared? You did 11 cubed. Oh, you forgot the x. There we go.
Oh.
There you go. It should be a swoop. Yeah. It shouldn't look like that, should it? That's not a straight line. Cubed should be all curvy and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So let's do this. Let's look at the table. Hit second graph to look at the table. Now your tables could look very different from mine.
Mhm.
I don't know, depending on who's done what with your calculator. Second graph. See above the graph it says table? I like it.
Mine put x is equal to 0.1, so
Oh.
it's like,
Do you know?
I don't-
Oh, this is. Oh yeah, this is the one I let you borrow, right?
yeah.
Okay, so let's change this real quick. Now when you go to table, it'll just be this.
There you go.
I like it.
Cool.
So do you see how this is useful? I want you. Do you see how it tells me where the outputs are? So of course at 0 it's negative 88. Yes. That's sort of like the y-intercept. If I look back at the function,
Yeah.
you see when x is 0, I get negative 88.
Yeah.
But what's really useful is how far up does it go? It keeps going forever up here, right? You guys see that?
Yeah.
But let's see what it does back this way. Of course I made one that doesn't really turn nice. Okay. So at least I know that I have to be able to look down quite a ways further than I currently am, and up quite a ways further. Because it goes down forever and it goes up forever. Are you guys sort of with me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go to my window. Let's do two things. I'm going to go to my window. I'm going to look down 1,000. Oh, Jeff, that's X, dude. Let's leave X alone, sorry. Go to Y's. Go down 1,000 and up 1,000. And let's see what we can see. Maybe make the scale 100 or else it's going to freak out a little bit. So we got that. So leave your X's alone. Let's look up and down further because my outputs are going crazy. We saw that from the table. Let's graph this thing and see what it looks
There you
like.
go.
Look at that. We got a little lucky. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times, but yeah, I made Y min negative 1,000 and Y max 1,000. Because again, how did I know to do that? I looked at my table and I saw what it was doing. So when you have a graph and it's not showing up and you don't have any idea where the hell it is, you can use the table to get some idea of what it's doing, right? So I knew I had to look further down. I knew I had to look further up. So I did that and I got a little lucky. I could see the cubic shape. A colleague of mine calls it giraffe graph because if you put a leg here, but I always tell him, did that leg come off? That's so sad. It's gonna fall over. Anyway, sorry, Corey, if you're watching this. But anyway, that's cubic for sure. Now watch this. Everybody hit zoom 6. And again, I took this. If you do zoom 6, you come back to this horrible straight line, right? And now you all understand. It looks like that because I'm just looking. It looks like this, and I'm just looking right there. And when I made my Y min and Y max different, I was looking further up and down, so then I could see the whole thing. There is one button that sometimes works really well. Let's see what it does. There's a zoom. Look at all these zooms, by the way. And we've only used Zoom Standard. But if you scroll down, see where it says Zoom Fit? You guys, everybody see Zoom Fit in the Zoom menu? Go ahead and hit and select that one, and let's see what this guy does. Okay, there he goes. That's really nice. Sometimes it works, and when it works perfectly. Sometimes it doesn't work. So that's why I prefer to just control the window. Say again?
It's hard.
Did it work? Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. I love it. You guys doing alright? Some of you guys are like, stop. Okay. Any other, you're the only person here right now that's algebra based at the moment, like a trig thing. Anything else you wanted to see with the graphing or anything?
Just this one.
This is good enough at the moment?
Yeah.
And of course you're gonna have stuff like, you're gonna have stuff like cosine of 2x minus sine of 3x and stuff, right?
Don't get it.
Yeah, you're eventually gonna get there, and you're gonna do some weird
Benefits.
shit and blah blah blah. Anyway, you make that stop. Okay. Now, if there's no other specific questions about graphing, and I think, I was gonna do intersections, but yeah, it's on that paper. You might not have to worry about it too much. Some of you guys out there need to. Real quick, if you just put into y equals 2 functions,
under calculate, see how it says intersect? That's what you would use. And it's going to ask you for the first line, for the second line, and then it's going to ask you for a guess. And then it'll figure out the intersection of two, not just lines, of any functions, right? So that's pretty straightforward. Feels a lot like minimum, maximum, finding the x-intercept. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, real quick, I should have done this, darn it. One last thing I want to show you. Let's all do 11x squared minus 150, right? Let's just do that. If I go to table, second graph, I go to table, I see this, right?
Minus 150?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, minus 150, yeah. Then hit second graph, go to table, and you see something, probably most of you guys should look like that. Now watch this. Do you remember making XY tables and then graphing the points? Okay, so everybody see this? Is that all right?
Where's the table?
Oh, it's right above graph, so you have to hit second graph. Now there's a very interesting sounding function, table set. So if you go to table set, second window, I can control where the table starts. I can control how big of a step it does. So watch this. If I just change this to 2, does everybody see this menu on your calculator?
No.
Second window, table set. Right there, second window to get the table set. So you hit the second button, and then the window button.
Yeah.
Okay, now make this delta table. See the little triangle? That's a delta. Make it 2 instead of 1. So now if you go back to table, second graph, see how it goes by 2s?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, ooh. The ultimate thing, now is everybody with me that wants to be with me? I know some of this asks people if you just want to zone out for a minute, this one. If I go back to table set, and instead of just doing that, I make this say ask for the independent variable. Independent variable is x. And I go to table, look what I've done. Oh, Jeff, that's great. But now you can put whatever the hell you want to in there, and it'll figure it out for you. 4, 44, 1.458. Pi, yay, right? So that's, if you change the independent to ask, it's sort of like the old days of making an XY table, except the calculator is creating it for you, right? So this is really cool when you have f of x and equals blah, and they say, what's f of 1? What's f of 2.7? Well, that's a quick way to, 2.7. You just control the inputs. Are you guys semi with me? Okay. All right. So I am going to make that the last thing I say about algebra. Let's talk about some statistics stuff. And everybody got one of these. So you got one that's specifically for algebra-based courses. And you guys got one that's specifically for statistics. And this is the one I always give my students. I call it the Calculator Bible. And you'll see it's got stuff like how to calculate the mean, the median. I'm not sure where you guys at in your stats courses. Have you done something called percentiles?
Mine's gonna start this week.
Say again?
Mine started late.
So you're starting. Oh, I see. How about you guys? Oh, you're doing like histograms and bar graphs and such, and stem leaf, and you're in stats, right? And are you also doing the histograms and such?
Histogram?
Box plots, maybe? Does that sound familiar? Percentiles? Okay, so one of the most basic things in making histograms, you have to sort data. So the most, now of course, if you're in statistics, which button on here, besides the on button, is
Stat
the
button.
most important? Probably the stat button, right? Now this button is very intriguing. When I was a little kid, this is not a joke. The tax man would come to my mom's house, help with the taxes. I would ask, can I borrow a calculator? And I would just play with the calculator. And they're like, well, I wonder what Jeff's going to do when he grows up. I was just playing with the calculator. In the corner, I was happy. There's no PlayStations or anything. But, sorry. That's the button I would hit first. If it's the first time I ever held this thing, I'm like, let me push that. So anytime you want to just play around with that, there's a bunch of shit in here, obviously. There's a lot. It's not all of that. There's a lot of that. But this, obviously, let's all push the stat button. And then in here, do you see how it says sort? So once I have some data in there, I can sort this stuff, right? Edit is where I'm actually going to be able to put data in.
What?
Sorry?
Here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Math button, I was sort of
Oh.
taking a side note. See the stat button? Stat? Yeah, push that one. And you should see this. Now again, you can kind of play along, but it's not going to be part of your Math 170. These guys are all in stats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Um,
Okay, can I get another?
another one?
Yeah.
You two of the same one? Or you want?
Yeah, someone.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Thank you.
So let's all put some data in here. Let's all put the same data. 17, 12, 44, 22, 18, 19, 19, 35. Okay, let me stop. Sorry,
Two
you guys good
19s.
out there? Huh?
2 19s.
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe this is the ages of people at a bus stop.
Copy.
One of my favorite go-to examples, right? So there's a 17-year-old who's there with a 12-year-old, there's a 44-year-old, 22-year-old, blah, 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 right? So this is data. My population is the people at this bus stop, and the variable of interest is the age of a person, right? Is everybody with me?
Mhm.
Okay. So one of the most basic things I could do is, yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, you can come into the Math Study Center with, if you only have calculator questions, or if you have whatever question, you just come in. They'll be
Anytime.
able to help you with the graphing calculator,
Anytime.
one-on-one. And yeah, anytime we're open. Yeah.
Oh,
8 to 6 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 1 Friday, and of course we're online too. We have Zoom tutoring also. Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You too.
So now watch this. So if I go stat, sort. Now what do you think the difference is between the two sorts?
Answer data.
Sort ascending, descending.
Oh, okay.
So let's sort ascending, which means small to big. Sort ascending. Now watch, you gotta be careful. You see how it has sort A and it's got a parenthesis? Now in math, it needs an input, like f of x, f of 7. So I have to tell it which list. Well, that's really loud. And I want to tell it list 1, because that's where we put the information. So do you see how above the 1, there's a list 1?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit second 1. So I'm going to tell it to sort list 1. And then it's very anticlimactic. It just says done. But, is everybody with me? If you go back to stat edit, now it's all in order, yes?
Yeah.
Now that's really useful for doing things like creating histograms, frequency distributions, all this kind of stuff, right? And you guys, remind me, some of you guys perked up when it said box and whisker or box plots, percentiles, quartiles. Oh, you guys just started, so a little
Yeah.
preview. There's something called a 5-number summary. Does that sound familiar? So it's low, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, high. And that's what you use to create a box plot from. So this is getting your future. Right? So watch this. If I go to, now, you know, this calculator costs a lot of money. Yes? You better be able to do a lot of shit. So I want it to calculate some basic statistics on this data I put in. So if I go to stat, again, I want it to calculate something. I want it to calculate. Now, how many variables did we put in? This
One.
is a very tricky question. I love it.
Oh.
You got it. It's 1. People tell me they put in so many data. No. There's only 1 variable with a lot of different answers, yes? We put 1 variable in. What variable was that? Ages. If I also ask them how many pets they owned, that's 2 variables, right? With multiple answers. So I want to calculate 1 variable statistics.
Okay.
Now, depending on if you have an older calculator or a newer one, if you have a newer one, you'll see this. If you have an older one, it should just say 1 var stats, with a blinking cursor, yes? If you have the older one, just hit enter because it defaults to list 1. For us, if you have the newer one, you go down to calculate. All right, and it spits a lot of stuff out at you. Does anybody know what this symbol here means? In fact, really quick, I'm sorry. Did everybody get this?
I didn't get it, 'cause I didn't plug in the graph.
You didn't put the data in?
The table.
Oh shit.
I clicked in mine, but wait, I was over.
Stat, and hit edit. Just hit enter. Okay, I got you. Now real quick, hit stat. Hit number 2, sort. And now tell it list 1. See, so hit second 1 for list 1. Now hit stat, edit. And see how it's in order now? Now hit stat, calc. Because I want to calculate, so hit the over arrow. Now let's take the first, we have one variable, so hit the first one, yeah. And you see how, yeah, just go down to calculate, list 1. Yeah, you want list 1, enter. Don't worry about freaky list. Hit calculate. You should get this. Anybody know what this symbol is?
It looks like it's spitting out the average age.
Yeah, this is the average, right? This is officially the sample mean, right? This is just the sum of them. This is the sum of them squared. Don't worry about that at the moment.
Okay.
This is something called the standard deviation, which we probably haven't gotten to yet, I think.
Okay.
But this is basically how spread out the data is. So roughly on average, the ages are about 11 away from the mean. So it's
Plus or minus.
one number that tells me how spread out the data seems. So if it would have been 3, all the ages would have been really tight around the mean. This is 11. Oh, come on. This is 11, so the ages are a little more spread out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, when I give a test or a quiz, I expect the standard deviation of test scores to be around 15. Normally people are about, on average, they're about 15 from the mean, above or below. Roughly, so if I get in standard deviation 20, I'm like, oh shit, there must have been people that did really bad or something really good, right? Because then they're really spread out. So that's in your future, is to calculate this number that represents how spread out the data is.
Okay.
But what we want right now, if you scroll down, do you see the little arrow at the bottom?
Yeah.
Just hit the down arrow. Do you see the last 5 things? Low, Q1, Q2, Q3, high. Right, the other name for Q2 is the median, the middle. So there's your 5-number summary. So for you, just keep that in mind. When you hear 5-number summary, you've got a nice way to kind of check your work. So when I teach my stat students, I taught them this. I said, you need to show me your work, but you can check your work right there. Right? How's that so far? So you got your basic statistics you can make the calculator spit out at you, right? Let me stop for a moment. You guys doing all right?
But Q1, I'm trying to figure out what that actually is.
So what Q1 is it's the data point that
Uh-huh.
has 25% of the data below it.
Gotcha.
So the first quartile.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Are you here for class?
Calculator, no.
Oh, for the calculator workshop? Oh, it's just about to end, but which class are you in?
Pre-calculus 176.
Pre-calculus, okay. So it started at 10, but it's okay. So there's some stuff. I'm actually recording this. I'm going to put it up online. Who's your teacher? Oh, you have who is the sign-in sheet? Uh-oh. Did I get it back? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Get sign in real quick. And I'm going to send a link to the video to the instructor so you can see the video from today. Oh, Corey? Yeah, okay. Now there's another workshop happening later for factoring too, starting at 12. All my stats peeps, you guys don't have to worry about that. Alright, so what's funny about this workshop is you guys haven't really done much yet with your data. So some of the stuff you need for right now is, like I said, how to sort data, right? And then how to calculate some basic stuff, one variable statistics. This you don't even know what it means yet, the difference between these two, but I'll tell you, this is the standard deviation for a sample. This is the standard deviation for a population. Can you guys tell me, what does the symbol for population mean? By the way, we're sort of doing stats now because I did the algebra stuff earlier, and these guys are in stats. What's the symbol for population mean? Does anyone know? Like this X bar, that's sample mean. It's the little U that's got an extra leg, right? Mu. Yes?
Okay.
French cow. Mu. Okay, so that's why population stuff, at least in the early going, has Greek letters. Sample stuff has the letters we're used to, our letters. Okay, maybe. I'm trying to think about what else at this point would help you the most. Let me think. Because you guys aren't very far yet. When you get to standard deviation, it depends on your instructor. You might need these numbers. If you took me, you will, because I make my students do a lot of stuff by hand, and I show them how to check it, right? I don't know, your instructor might just let you get the number out of the calculator. I don't know. So the formula for standard deviation involves these two things.
Okay.
Does anyone know, by the way, does anyone know what the hell that symbol is there?
Some.
Yes, good. It's a Greek letter sigma.
I'll watch the recording.
Okay, sure. Greek letter sigma, and it's the Greek letter S, and so that's why we used it for sum. So the sum of x just means add up the data points. The sum of x squared means square the data points and then add those up.
Gotcha.
So it just gives you both, and the reason it gives you both is they both show up in the formula for standard deviation. And they're used for other things too, further down the line. Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's much I could give you. I'm trying to think if there's a preview I can give you that would be useful. No, I will say this. Here's a good idea. Look above y equals. See where it says stat plot?
Yeah.
That sounds intriguing. So if you hit second y equals, and go in here, do you guys see, what does it look like this is? You might not know, but
It's like a box. It like
this one.
has your mean and all
Does
that.
that look like a box plot?
Yeah.
That's a box plot, box of whiskers. And of course, this guy
Bar.
is a histogram, yes? No? This guy? That's a histogram, right? Histogram has the boxes, yes? The rectangles? Maybe? No? I love you guys. You're all like, I don't know, man. We're just doing shit. But just to let you know, I never really show my students how to do this. It's up to them if they want to know. But this will make histograms and it will make box plots. It's just what you have to tell it to make it set it up correctly is a whole other thing, right? So I just do them by hand with my students, just to let you know they're there, right? Okay. Other than that, I want to point out a couple things. So here is all the instructions for what we just did with 1-bar stats and all that stuff, right? Here's, depending on what your instructor, if they make you do a lot of standard deviation stuff by hand, this will be important. If they just let you get it out of calculator, you don't have to worry about this part. Pretty soon you're going to start doing stuff called binomial distributions. You probably have already talked about normal distributions, yes? The good old bell curve.
Yes.
You're talking about the bell curve. Formally it's called the normal distribution, right? So it tells you how to do some normal distribution stuff in your calculator. So just pointing out, if you keep the sheet, you can reference it later this semester. And as you hit these things, it goes step by step how to do certain things, if you want to. And of course, one of the last things we do is this correlation stuff, linear regression. That's way in your future, chapter 12. So, don't worry about that yet. It'll come. Was there anything you hoped I would cover that I didn't? Or were you just like, whatever this guy does, I'm just going to take it?
Yeah.
Understood. I appreciate that. And just to reiterate what I told somebody else, any of these tutors in here can help you with the graphic calculator if you hit issues with it as you use it more and more, right? And we have some you can borrow in the Math Study Center. If you borrowed one from me, can I have it back so I don't have to pay for it out of my teacher salary? So yeah, if you don't have any other specific questions, that's really all I had. I'll be posting the video and I'll tell your instructors where the link is. But my YouTube channel is Waller is Me. If you want to go there and see what's up there. I've recorded my lectures in every course I've taught since 2011. So yeah, so it's all okay. But anyway, this will be up there. I'll let them know what the link is directly to it if you wanted to see it again. Yeah, but thanks for coming. I hope it was useful. And if there was anything else that you wanted to know how to do, just let me know or let our tutor know. Yeah.
Are you the helping us?
Yeah, I'm in charge of the center. I'm the faculty coordinator at the moment, and I teach the math study in the math department. So I do tutor in here every now and again when there's a tutor out or something. I cover for them if nobody else can cover. So I am very frequently, because I love to tutor. So you will see me wandering. Waller, yeah. My name is Jeff Waller. Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, good luck with your stuff. I love stats. Say again. The video?
He's gonna link it to the
Yeah.
your teacher.
But my YouTube channel is Waller is Me. One word. Waller is Me. Waller is Me.
I hope so.
Yeah, me is Waller. Waller is me. Yeah. Or you just wait for the teacher to put a link to the video directly up in Canvas. Yeah.
You
All right,
said the
guys.
library we can.
Library,
Like
hopefully
borrow one?
they should have. They started with plenty, so I'm hoping they have some left over. You could check out a calculator for a certain number of weeks, I think. But don't quote me on that. I'm not sure where the rules are at the moment.
So I was looking on Apps Store and I found a few.
Oh, emulators. Hey, look at that. Looks pretty good. It's a little different though, but like there's
Yeah.
the stat button.
Thank you.
At it. So it doesn't quite look. You're welcome. And that's. And I guess as you put stuff in, I guess it'll grow. So it does work the same way. But like I said, that there's that website I threw up there earlier.
Yeah, on
And that'll
the
actually work on your
computer.
phone too. But yeah, those are really good.
Yeah, I found a couple of them and I was like, maybe these.
Thanks, guys.